What's going on, Aces? Welcome back to the channel. So this is the Real Housewives of Potomac Season 8 reunion, Part 2. And this reunion was actually really good. It was a lot more interesting than the season. I know a lot of people have said that, but I really enjoyed the fact that we get to see essentially where Candice, she says, I quit. She's like, I got it. I'm done, is what she says, with her, signature smirk on her face. We also see, I think, the point where Andy got kind of fed up with Robyn and made the decision to cut her from the show. But let's go ahead and get into it because part one left off with them talking about Mia and Gordon and whether or not her son was Gordon's or Ink, who is her current boyfriend now. And so Mia says, that she did the IUI and she's a woman, she knows her body. And she says that she knows for 100% fact that it's Gordon's, right? Well, she didn't add the 100%, but she says, I know my body and I know that this is Gordon's child. A lot of people chimed in and said that it looks like Gordon. And Andy, followed up and asked her, does Ink just, want it to be his baby? And she's like, yeah, that's a possibility. She let us know also that Gordon's finances really aren't what what I guess he portrayed them to be. They had an extravagant wedding. And I feel like, a lot of people who focus more so on the wedding aspect have a difficult time in a marriage just because the wedding, of course, is like the icing, but the marriage is the cake, right? You really want to put in that work and focus on the relationship. Um, Not me trying to be a marriage and family therapist, y'all. I did take a class though. I took a marriage and family therapist class. No, I'm not an expert. I really, I hope that, um, I guess Mia finds the love that she's looking for. Even Gordon, you know, he showed up and he said that he was there to support his ex-wife. First, he called her his wife, then he said his ex-wife. When the husbands came out. So I feel like that's really important. Um, I'm interested to see if where Mia's journey takes her. I feel like she was really the standout star of the season, but they bring out the husbands, and the other husband who really stepped up was Chris, right? Chris, he really had his wife's back in regards to the woman that came out and said that she had an affair with Chris, that she was pregnant by him, and then soon after just recanted and said, I made the whole thing up, so, which is crazy. A lot of people were saying that when she did that interview with Tasha K, she was slurring her words. They felt that she might have been under the influence of something, whether it was alcohol or, substances or whatever. But in my mind, I'm thinking, I know that, Real Housewives of Potomac, the women are on TV, but Candice is not even a big star like that. Like Chris, like for her to target Chris Bassett, who is a chef on a reality show, and not even one of the stars, right? He's, in proxy to his wife, Candice. It's weird to me. Like these aren't huge celebrities, they're Bravo celebrities. So for her to make up this story, a lot of people have speculated that Giselle was behind it. And I feel like this woman, she also said that Giselle was behind it, but her credibility is shot. So I wouldn't, trust her as far as I can throw her. I wouldn't believe anything that she says. But, you know, I hope not. I mean, I don't know. Giselle, to me, is hugely problematic. I don't think that she would go that far, but I don't know Giselle Bryant personally. I can only go by what we see on the show. So I'm hoping that she did not hire this woman to, smear Chris's name and try to break up Chris and Candace's marriage. But I don't know. Only the truth, you know, will tell. Time will tell. So hopefully the truth will come out. Even if it doesn't, I'm hoping that somebody wouldn't do something that's, sinister. But anytime that Chris was asked about this woman, he's like, I never met her. She didn't seem well, right? She seemed very unwell to me. So I do like the fact that, Chris stood behind his wife. Um, he was taking on the questions, and he had her back, both physically and figuratively. Um, and I feel like that's one of the things that really bothers Robyn a lot. Like going back and forth between Candice. Yeah, she's on Twitter and, she's a Twitter assassin. But at the crux of it, I feel like she sees Chris, having Candice's back. Like she sees him be there for her in a way that Juan is not. Um, and they were, the men asked, or they were asked about, Juan not being there. And Andy's like, how do you feel about that? And they looked really uncomfortable. And they're like, well, we don't want to throw Juan under the bus. And they didn't want to make Robyn feel more alone than she already was. But the truth of the matter is, there was no good reason for Juan not to be there other than the fact that he just does not love and respect and support his wife. Just period. Nneka, being messy, she told her husband, Ike, she was like, listen, I need you to be there and support me, because if you're not, you can go and be wherever Juan Dixon is. Nneka is just, she be doing this man so dirty. Listen, Nneka, okay? This man is a traveling doctor. You got a good man, Savannah, okay? A good man. Stop dogging his life. He's there. You know what I mean? He had his blinged out, African gear on. Andy said, I love your outfit. He's like, you can borrow it, after the show or whatever. I feel like Nneka really needs to start treating her husband with just a little bit more respect. At least while the cameras are rolling. My goodness. Okay, moving on to Dr. Wendy, who, in my opinion, this was one of her bright, shining moments. They were talking about colorism once again. And, Giselle and Candice were going back and forth with it. Wendy chimed in and she said that, Karen first chimed in regards to Giselle saying that she wasn't a colorist because she was an AKA and that she went to, Hampton University. Just because you go to an HBCU, and, you're a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha doesn't mean you're not a colorist. On the flip side, one could even say that those are hotbeds for colorism. You couldn't get into Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority without passing a paper bag test. They would hold a paper bag up to your face. And if you were lighter than the paper bag is, like Giselle is, she's the prototype for an AKA, to be honest, then they would let you in the sorority. And if you were darker, you were denied and dismissed. But anyway, so, Candice and her are going back and forth. And Karen was like, well, there's not another Bravo TV show that could better deal with the situation of colorism or the issue of colorism other than, ours, the Real Housewives of Potomac. And Wendy jumps in and she's like, no, actually, that's not true. And I disagree because the women on this panel do not have the range. And I feel like she's 100% correct because I feel like Wendy is the only person who not only experiences colorism, but she has the language, right? Because she has her PhD, she has the language and the academic background to truly break down a lot of, things dealing with colorism, like the history, the relevancy today. It's so salient throughout our culture, the, power dynamics in regards to proximity to whiteness, all those things, right? I've studied them. I wrote about them during my own academic career. To be honest with you guys, it's a bit exhausting. I can see all the dynamics play out here. I feel like Giselle And Robyn, and Robyn cried, unfortunately. Like, she was really upset about the fact that, she was, people are calling her a colorist online. I don't think Robyn is as much of a colorist as Giselle is. Giselle, I feel like she has really embraced. She might not even be aware of it. That's the thing. Like, I don't think she's even aware. I don't think she's cognizant of the fact that she treats Robyn and Karen and even Ashley so much better, so much more differently than she does Wendy and Candice. Robyn, I don't feel it's a colorism issue. I feel like Robyn is upset that Candice and Wendy have husbands that love and support them, and she does not. I feel like that's where her pain and her hurt lies, right? She's not going to take that out on Juan. She's going to misdirect that anger at the women. Um, so yeah, that's a soft spot. That's a weak spot for Robyn. I mean, and she said so, right? But she was upset about the colorism issue. I don't think that Robyn is a colorist. I do think Giselle is, and I do think she's in denial about it. The fact that she brought up being an AKA and attending an HBCU, it gives me, I'm not racist because I have a Black friend, and a lot of people have said that online as well. But you guys, let me know your thoughts. I thought part 2 was really good. Please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And I will talk with you in the next one. Take care, Aces. Bye.